All right, so we're taking the Cirrus VJ from Burbank Airport in Los Angeles over to Catalina for some touch and goes. Go ahead and get our pre-flight started. Go ahead and go batteries on, generators on, because we know we're going to start motors. Go into initialization. We don't have a database. System test, similar to the Honda jet, with pre-flight emergency warnings and stick shakers. All right, fuel, 145 gallons, 149 gallons, excuse me. Weight and balance got me at 180 pounds. I just put 100 pounds in the luggage compartment. Flight pan, yeah, Bob Hope to KAVX. All right, VAMs, chocks, covers and protectors. Take those off. And this is kind of interesting. See the Bose headsets up there? If I go to Bose and click those on, it simulates that the headsets are on. And it also does some noise canceling. It'll mute out external sounds. It's kind of neat. All right, we'll go to speed bugs. Turn those on. You can see just 90 knots for landing. 100 knots for landing and 90 knots for V1 takeoff. All right, bring up our checklist. I love the Vision Jet's checklist system here. It's pretty easy to go through. All right, we turn on battery and generators, strobe lights. Go ahead and pop those on. Cast messages is good. Thrust lever. Set to idle. And, engine warnings. So the engine start here is pretty slick. Go ahead and engine to run and start stop button. Just one engine on this jet, so pretty easy to watch the N2s rise to allow us to continue on our checklist. Can't think of an easier engine start system than the Honda jets. Obviously, one button push start. All right, everything's in the green. Going with a checklist. Oxygen master switch. Go ahead and pop that on. Yep. Okay, bleeder switch should not be on bleed until battery's been on for 2 minutes or more. And next checklist, before taxi, comm, nav, GPS, altimeter, and heading. All right, so we're going to be doing a scenic flight here around some landmarks in LA, so we'll just fly to 3,000 feet. We'll set runway heading so we can use some autopilot on takeoff. That's runway 26. Let's go with our rest of our checklist here. Trim, so electronic readout for the trim. See, it says there's 0 degrees. Go ahead and set that for 6 degrees as indicated. All right. Flaps to 50. Okay, we're good. Takeoff, go around button on the throttles. This little tiny thing here, click that on. And we're good for before takeoff. All right, we'll get the departure briefing and clearance right now. So we're gonna take off to the east to see downtown in LA and Dodger Stadium. All right, taking off for runway 26. All right, so we're parked at the terminal. So we're going to request a pushback to allow us to taxi out. Go ahead and hit our flight director on. Set us up for takeoff. Here comes our pushback. Good old Burbank, Bob Hope Airport. It's crazy how nice these general aviation airports are around Los Angeles. All right, go ahead and do our flight controls check. This guy's taking a while to get into position to tow us back. Looks like another jet's gonna push back for takeoff. We should see if we can beat him for takeoff. Actually, I think I forgot to disconnect the parking brake. There we go. Alright, now we're pushing back.
Burbank Ground Vision Jet, November 236, Mike Juliet, requesting the end of pushback. Vision Jet, November 236, Mike Juliet, request to end pushback received. Burbank Ground Generic, November 9er.
Alright, so we're good to taxi, so we're gonna try to beat that other aircraft down there and get our flight underway first. See if we can beat him to the line. This jet's extremely nimble on the tarmac with such a short wheelbase and one engine to spool up. Alright, looks like we beat that other aircraft to the line, so we'll go ahead and request takeoff clearance. Alright, just go ahead and run the rest of our checklist here. So before takeoff, requesting clearance.
236, Mike Juliet at runway 26, ready for departure to the east. Vision Jet, November 236, Mike Juliet, altimeter 29.9er, 2 wind, calm east departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 26. Cleared for takeoff runway 26, Vision Jet 6, Mike Juliet.
Alright, landing lights. Pop those on for takeoff. Go down the checklist. Probe heat. Good. Checked our trim, checked our flaps. Alright, we're good for takeoff. Runway's clear. We're just gonna go ahead and push up throttles and get this jet in the air. We'll look for 90 knots to rotate. Alright, there's 90 knots. Woo! Nice easy climb out. Alright, we'll go ahead and click on autopilot. We'll fly runway heading. Set our climb. Like I said, just climbing to a pretty low 3,000 feet just so we can sightsee for a bit.
Burbank Tower Vision Jet, November 236, Mike Juliet frequency change.
We're going to set auto throttles, which is a really cool feature that a jet this small has. Normal takeoff checklist complete. Cruise checklist. Good to go. I'm sorry, climb checklist. And I had to slow down to about 120 knots just so we can see the Hollywood sign, Griffith Park, and the observatory. I'm going to turn us to the east. We can fly by the Hollywood sign. Get to external view so we can see some stuff. It's a very slick little plane, this Vision Jet. This would almost never happen. We would probably be on IFR instructions with all the helicopters and general aviation aircraft that fly around this North Hollywood area. We'd at least be under pretty specific ATC instructions rather than just fly around free will. Alright, so there's the Hollywood sign. Excuse the poor rendering. There's a little radio control station on top. I have hiked up to the top of this thing probably 5 or 6 times. It's a pretty decent workout. It's amazing the level of detail in the hiking trails down there. I can almost retrace some of the routes I've taken. There's Griffith Observatory down below, and this ridiculous parking lot to the west of it. I think it charges like $30 to $35 even if you park for 5 minutes. It's pretty much a flat rate until you go over 2 hours. And there's nowhere else to park up there, so you're forced to pay. Alright, I'm going to turn us towards downtown LA and try to fly us over Dodger Stadium so we can get a good look at that. We'll go to external view again. It's downtown LA off there to my right. and Dodger Stadium's right in front of us. All right, that's a good look at Chavez Ravine and Dodger Stadium. Have seen a bunch of games over here. Beautiful venue, but logistically speaking, it's one of the worst ballparks to get into. You can see the lack of highways nearby, and there's like two main arteries, like 4-lane roads, tiny 4-lane roads that go into the stadium. So the whole notion that LA fans show up late and leave early, yeah, it's so you don't get stuck in traffic for 3 hours. All right, I'm going to turn this closer to downtown so we can see what that looks like. There's Staples Center off there at the top of the screen. That is interesting. So that's a new Ritz-Carlton, if I believe, that they just erected. And it really gentrified this entire area. There used to be a lot of parking areas and low-cost parking options for stuff at Staples. But that whole Ritz-Carlton project really jacked up the parking options. And above that's, of course, the LA Convention Center.
Burbank Tower Generic November 90741 uniform is 1 mile northwest 1,000 feet with golf to land.
All right, we're going to go ahead and climb to 5,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and increase our speed about as fast as we can go under that, under 10,000. Under 10,000, 250 knot speed limit. And my goal here, so there's Catalina off in the radar picture, and the map picture down below. I'm pretty much going to fly at an angle to pretty much give us an optimal path in. You definitely want to configure the plane so that you're set up for a safe and precise approach, because Catalina is narrow and it has this weird, it's not an even landing surface. It's got this little dip. Those that have been there, those that have researched it, knows that the tarmac at Catalina Field is just weird. All right, we'll take a look to the cabin. So it's kind of nice. The rendering here got some USB and some headphone ports. Looks like down here we got a international 115 volts AC plug. It's pretty cool. I guess this is what it looks like to sit passenger in the Vision Jet. It's tiny, but seems spacious. It's basically like a compact car with 4 seats. It's like LAX there out in the right wing. And here's something cool. If you're sitting passenger in the Vision Jet, you can pull down the TV screen and watch a movie. So it doesn't have a bathroom like the Honda Jet, but you saw those modular attachment points in the back. You can actually buy a a Cirrus branded portable toilet. You can take it with you and bolt it down. I think it even comes with a curtain attachment. And one of the videos I saw listed that toilet option as $17,000 from Cirrus. So pretty nuts. I'm gonna try to scale our map. So we're not following the approach chart. We're just kind of hand flying this whole thing, but gonna use the map picture here to try to line us as best we can with the runway for approach. And as soon as we clear the coastline here, I'll start descending, because like I said, we want to be well set up, well prepared for this approach. I'll also add that I don't believe touch and goes are allowed at Catalina. We're just doing it for the fun of flight sim. But you'll see when we land and take off, it's a short runway, and it's just, yeah, to me, it's pretty daunting. Doesn't surprise me at all that touch and goes are not allowed there. Pretty sharp looking plane in black, I must say. If you had the money and you wanted just a simple plane, pressurized, rated up, I think it's rated up to 29,000 feet, fast, with, low maintenance with just that one engine, it's hard to think of a slicker option than this Vision Jet here. All right, so we're cruising at almost 240 knots, so we will be on final very quick. If I recall, Catalina is a uncontrolled field, so we'll basically make radar calls in the blind to announce our position. All right, descent checklist, easy enough. Approach. All right, we're going to start our descent now. We'll come in at 2,000 feet before we hand fly it down to landing. Once we're near target altitude, I'll slow the jet down to flap speed and get all set up for final. The main intent here is just to get to our destinations as quick as possible, kind of show off the speed and efficiency of this aircraft. All right, and I'm gonna set up my compass bug here to runway heading at Catalina, which is runway 22, and I find that doing this just makes it easier to do touch and goes because I know exactly what heading the runway is. So you can do a crosswind, downwind, base, and turns to final, even if you can't visually reference the runway. I want to say the Vision Jet calls for flaps 50 for descent and full flaps for landing. I mean, like most things, I think that is weight and balance contingent. I find that this aircraft, much like the Honda Jet with full flaps, if it's not needed, it just makes it extremely touchy. So flaps 50 for landing is working for me so far. Alright, looks like we're about on, so I'm going to turn this onto runway heading. Alright, I'm going to start bringing our speed down so we can configure for landing. This aircraft will speed up, accelerate, and decelerate so quickly. It seems to be a low drag aircraft. I don't know why it can scrub speed so quickly, but again, another feature that makes it so easy to operate. All right, we're going to announce touch and goes. Like I said, uncontrolled field, so we're kind of making radar calls in the blind here. And we'll announce we're in final.
Victor X-ray, traffic Vision Jet, November 236, Mike Juliet is on final runway, 22 touch and go left traffic.
All right, flaps to 50. Go ahead and slow down just a bit more. It's kind of a steep approach once you really get close to Catalina. Like I said, because of that uneven tarmac surface, so you definitely want to make sure your speed is on, because you will float down this short runway, and that's just not good. All right, we'll click autopilot off. We'll hand fly the landing. Gears down, flaps configured. Speeds are bugged. All right, before and landing checklist. Easy enough. Keeping an eye on our airspeed as we come down. Like I said, definitely want to make sure that we are bang on. Make sure that we can safely and softly put the wheels down. Floating or flaring at this short of a runway would definitely put us in an unsafe spot. All right, nice and easy, set her down. Actually floated just a bit. All right, very quickly we'll apply power. There's 90 knots, nose up. Gears coming up. And flaps are retracting. All right, go and click on autopilot. We'll fly runway heading again. And we're going to fly pattern altitude of 2,500 feet. Go ahead and start our turn. Like I said, it's easy to do because I've got my runway heading bugged on our compass heading there. Go auto throttles again. We'll gonna fly a pretty quick pattern just to make these touch and goes as short as can be. Go and fly our downwind leg. Go ahead and announce our position.
November 236, Mike Juliet is on downwind runway 22.
We've cleared the coastline, so we're gonna go ahead and bring this down to 2,000 feet. Alright, I'm gonna make our base turn. And I'm gonna start slowing us down again so we can get our flaps out and set up for landing. Next, our base turn is going to be a lot shorter final than obviously what it was when we came in, so I'm going to descend us down to 1,800.
Alpha Victor X-ray, traffic vision jet, November 236, Mike Juliet is on base runway 22.
Right, flaps to 50, landing lights on. Going to the runway heading, we should be just about on the right approach fix. We will announce that we're on final. Alright, runway's in sight.
Mike Juliet is on final runway, 22 touch and go left traffic.
Looks like we're on it pretty well. Pretty good. Alright, we'll go gear down. And we'll go ahead and disconnect autopilot. Again, keeping a close eye on our speed. And so far this approach is looking pretty clean. Alright, wheels down, go in lineup, and power up again for takeoff. Okay, there's 90 knots, go ahead and rotate. Gears up. And flaps coming up. Go and kick on autopilot. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and climb up to 5,000 feet. And we're actually gonna request a landing at John Wayne Airport. Which is just west of Catalina. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and set up for an ILS approach. So I got nav1 set as the navigation source. Alright, we're gonna remove Bob Hope Airport as our departure airport. Oh, turn the landing lights off. This is just for a simple GPS point-to-point. We're going to add our origin, which was KAVX for Catalina. And we're going to delete Catalina from the arrival. Let's look up the ICAO for John Wayne. Looks like KSNA. Go and put that in. And you can see our purple line just showed up on our right MFD. Alright, let's go ahead and set up Navigator 1. 111.75 is the ILS frequency. And it looks like for the most part we're basically configured for an ILS approach into John Wayne. Alright, so we're hauling some tail again. We will be right up on that coastline, getting ready for landing very quick. We'll go ahead and request landing from John Wayne. And we're going to do a full stop here.
John Wayne Tower Vision Jet November 236, Mike Juliet is 28 miles southwest, 4,900 feet with Yankee to land.
Vision Jet November 236 Mike Juliet John Wayne Tower. Altimeter 29.9, 2 wind calm fly right downwind runway 20 right.
All right, fly right downwind, so right traffic pattern.
Enter right traffic runway 20 right Vision Jet 6, Mike Juliet.
kind of just sitting waiting now. I will try to configure us so we're right downwind for a right turn base and then right to final. Once we're on base, I'll probably click on the approach mode and let the autopilot fly the ILS approach. You can see in the landing checklist it says flaps 100% unless the aircraft is ice contaminated. I'm landing with 50 flaps on this for ease of control. If anybody regularly does full flaps, please feel free to post in the comments why you go with that technique and if it's any easier to operate the plane. All right, we're going to start our descent as we approach the coastline. There's John Wayne Airport to my right. Another very nice, well-developed, small airport, no doubt due to the amount of billionaires that have their own jets in this vicinity.
Vision Jet 6 Mike Juliet, winds calm, clear to land runway 20 right.
Clear to land runway 20 right. Vision Jet 6, Mike Juliet.
I'm going to slow us down, start prepping for landing. Flaps 50. And right turn to base. Alright, we're going to try to activate approach mode. And oops, I probably did not have to click nav. I probably should have just clicked off heading mode and activated approach mode. So now the autopilot is going to fly us down glide slope. Alright, gear down, flaps down. We're on an autopilot approach. Jet's touring towards the runway, things are looking good. And this approach calls for, or this airport rather, calls for a pretty steep angle of descent due to the row of runway landing lights you see. You see they're tracking towards the threshold. So you'll look like you're on a good approach, and then the poppy will indicate you're too low. All right, there's 500 feet. We're gonna get ready to click off autopilot and hand fly the landing. Auto throttle's off. You can probably see the raised runway lights there, past the threshold. And Poppy already shows me a little low. Oh, we've cleared the lights, aim for the touchdown zone. Nice and gentle. All right, we're gonna park all the way at the end of the general aviation parking spots. So
Vision Jet 6 Mike Juliet.
yeah, we can just turn in now.
Vision Jet 6 Mike Juliet.
I'm gonna ignore
On 132.
the taxi instructions because I know where I want to park. Versus spending 20 minutes circling the entire tarmac.
5 Vision Jet 6 Mike Juliet. John Wayne Ground Vision Jet November 236 Mike Juliet request taxi to parking.
Vision Jet November 236 Mike Juliet taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway Bravo Echo.
Go into our landing lots and pitot heat off.
Taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway
All right,
Bravo
acknowledge
Echo
taxi instructions, but like I said, I'm just gonna ignore them
Bravo Vision Jet 6 Mike
to
Juliet.
park next to these, looks like Cessnas. Nope, that's a Baron. Looks like a Mooney Bravo or something. All right, let's run through a shutdown checklist. First things first, parking brake on. All right, clear out the landing checklist. Clear out the go around checklist. All right, after landing, flaps are up. Yep. Probe heat's off. External lights are off. All right, shut down. Thrust levels idle. Turn off bleed air. Turn off oxygen master. All right, engine knob. Engine stop depressed. Wait for N2s at, what's it say, 24%? Below 24%. All right, turn off our generators. Let's go and open the door. Will this let us go outside? No, it will not. All right, batteries off and flight complete.